let's start the game. And head over to Capture Age as always. Alright, so we got the Silvertongue named Brutus here, playing as the Mongols. Let me just change the name up here at the top. Alright, so then just to kind of review what these two AIs are, we have SilverTongue, which is scripted by Rorik. I think it's his oldest AI that's an intermint, but still being updated periodically. It's the one that goes for the most standard of AI strategies. Traditionally, it goes for fairly large archery crossbowman rush. I think usually it'll end up attacking in Castle Age rather than Feudal Age. But SilverTongue can also go for a night rush under certain settings. And then Corleone is an AI that's kind of known for its skirmisher rush and going a very aggressive strategy. And just knowing those two different strategies that these AIs seem to go for, SilverTongue's strategy might not fare very well against Corleone. And just taking a look, Corleone's map is got a forward goal, but fairly defensive overall. The resources are pretty easy to defend. And SilverTongue has a fair number of forests by its town. I decided to put the first lumber camp forward, which could be a problem, but the gold is in the back. And we've got a chicken, Arabia, so might favor a bit more defensiveness and less aggression. Aha, yes, so I guess it also goes for archers, but the skirmishers seem to be the unit that's prioritized from what I remember. Alright, so we got a boar hunt happening pretty successfully. Most AIs still do the hunting the boars the old-fashioned way, since that's the way that the AI engine works by default. And it looks like Corleone also got a boar lure, but this time outside the TC. Sometimes it happens with AIs, it's kind of hard to ensure that the boar is always hunted to the middle of the TC. And currently we've got a Nautical Scout from Corleone. That's gonna change the visibility here. So, not sure if that's a bug from the scout or not. We've got cow scouting as well. Alright, so the scout is starting to move forward. And villagers going from the boar onto forage bushes. And SilverTongue starting some farms. And Corleone's starting to research Feudal Age, so we'll definitely see some aggression coming from Corleone first, I think, as expected. And a little bit of idle TC time, but not too far behind. We'll see how many villagers SilverTongue takes to advance, but it might be a few villagers after Corleone it does. Yeah, and I don't know if the scouting for Corleone is done with DUC. Sometimes it's hard to have a good DUC scouting code. The general, especially when with its livestock. Sometimes if the next point that the scout wants to go to is not available, the scouting units, either the livestock or the scout, will just not move. And I think for the livestock scouting, I just don't bother fixing that and just wait until it's time for them to go back to the TC. I think I spend a little more time making sure the scout is always moving. Alright, so looks like Corleone starting the attack with a scout. So far it's only found a mill, but that should be enough to get the attack started. Alright, so the scout goes down. They've got a spear that's scouting right now. Something that Corleone does is likes to push in the deer, but this isn't the deer Arabia, so there's not much of a chance to do that. I think on the current generations of Arabia, it'll generate some neutral deer, like right here. That looks like that spearman slightly missed finding these ibex. Either way, we've got a spear and a skirmisher. Yeah, looks like they're gonna go forward. SilverTongue's going archer ranges and training his first archer. So I think we'll have this attack starting pretty soon. So we got the skirmishers targeting the villagers. The spearman was killed off, but this archer is going to go down. And SilverTongue seems to be sticking with archers with no upgrades. No upgrades for either side at this point. So 5 kills for Corleone and 2 deaths. And more units coming in from Corleone. And if those archers were attacking the spearmen, that might be nice. But the skirmishers aren't going to die very quickly against these archers. Alright, 7-3 KD at this point. SilverTongue is ahead in score. That might be a little bit due to the villager population. Could also be due to more exploration, because that gives you a lot of points. SilverTongue has gathered more resources than Corleone, but we'll see if that lasts. Scout here is back from exploring to help defend, which can be helpful against the skirmishers. And I don't see any spearmen here yet. Well, we got this one right here, but he's not helping against the scout. Alright, now the scout is being attacked by the spearman, and the scout goes down. And Corleone's army keeps on growing. And looks like Corleone's found this gold mine. We'll see if they attack it. So it looks like the villagers from SilverTongue will go after the spearmen, but avoid attacking skirmishers. I think that's default villager defense behavior. You have to set it to something different to allow it to choose to attack back against ranged units. So we got a couple archers from SilverTongue, but I think they'll die here pretty soon. That being said, it doesn't seem like Corleone wants to attack them. They seem to be targeting the villagers instead. Or this skirmisher seems to be attacking the archer range, which isn't the best target. And we got a forward archer range from Corleone. Let's get an updated selection. for the combat going on so far. SilverTongue still getting the villager counts for SilverTongue is still increasing, but you can see that all these villagers being idle inside the TC is really hurting in SilverTongue's economy. Corleone is way ahead on resources collected at this point. And I think this aggressiveness will be enough to get Corleone ahead. If you can't already tell by the military numbers. SilverTongue does have a positive KD, but that's not going to be enough, I think. I think SilverTongue at this point would have to find a way to switch into scouts, perhaps. And if he did, maybe he'd be able to fight back all of these units. But with these farms under the TC, it's struggling to even get food collected at this point. Yeah, not seeing Rorik in the list of viewers at the moment. Yeah, I agree the tower could also help. Apologies for not commenting too much on what's going on. It's a bit more of the same. I'm trying to see if I can turn on moderator mode for the Twitch chat. Yeah, so 46 military from Corleone. All the villagers at SilverTongue's TC are just going back and forth. I think I'm gonna call the game here. So I think the trends on these graphs here were pretty clear from just watching the game. SilverTongue got ahead in economy, but was able to keep up with Corleone's aggression. So let's just switch back to the game and go through these tabs. Alright, so a win for Corleone. Let's see if they can continue on Arena. And Corleone switches to Saracens from what I remember. And SilverTongue, I'll need to look up SilverTongue's civs. Alright, Britons and Teutons. Alright, everything's all set. Let's go. And unfortunately, it looks like we need to change the players and capture age. Alright, so it looks like SilverTongue's going for Britons. So it's possible you could see similar army compositions to what we saw in Arabia. But this is Arena, so the game could turn out differently. Just take a look. I'm trying to see, yep, so it looks like it's a standard arena, not a chicken arena. Corleone's found 2 of the cows. Looks like I already found 1 of them, 2 of them earlier. And SilverTongue is still missing 2, just like Corleone. Okay, so Corleone found all of the cows. Arena, it's not that hard to find your resources. They're all pretty close to the TC. So both players have an empty area in the back, like usual. And SilverTongue, just looking at... it might be playing defensive in this game, so looks like we'll be able to lumber camp decent ways back from the walls, so that should have some protected lumberjacks. And both of the goats are pretty well protected. Not a lot of resources right next to the walls. So SilverTongue should be fairly safe until Corleone breaks through the walls, which I think on Arena we'll try to do with the same army composition as Arabia. The Saracens definitely help out there with their team bonus. And then for Corleone, it might not be on the aggression, but the berries and main gold are both forward. So if Corleone ever is on the back foot, then these resources might be harder to get to, but still, they're a good ways away from the walls. Alright, so bringing in the second boar for Corleone. And SilverTongue still has the first boar. Alright, SilverTongue's bringing in the second boar now. Alright, so I'm gonna update the score here. They got the lumber camp from Corleone, the later than the build order than you'll see from most AIs. We got the mill and the berries in the back for SilverTongue. And I think SilverTongue, okay, so SilverTongue didn't go for loom. Just got a couple seconds of battle TC time while Corleone has got 0 at this point. And Corleone is currently ahead on resources gathered as well. But they're roughly equal, so now SilverTongue's ahead. It really just depends on when they've been dropping off resources, I find. So we got some deer pushing from Corleone, and SilverTongue hasn't started doing that yet, but I think it will. I can't remember if SilverTongue has deer pushing or not. Alright, so Corleone's going up at 19 pop. And the villagers should have loom now. At this point in the game, loom probably isn't necessary. I think some people will delay loom until Castle Age, like going up to Castle Age. That's at least when my AI does it. I don't know if that's always the way to go. That SilverTongue has not chosen to get Limb yet. We'll see if he gets Limb before trying to go up to Feudal Age. So we got a bunch of foragers here for SilverTongue, and SilverTongue still hasn't pushed in the deer. Yeah, we do have some foxes on the map. Curious to see if any of the AIs will go for them. So this will be the first game in the tournament that has foxes. I think in general most players, like if they're going for a tire rush or a castle drop, any sort of like forward buildings, I think that's when they'll often gather the foxes from what I've heard. But otherwise just kind of leave them alone. It's sort of like if you have a villager that happens to be nearby, then collect them, but otherwise it's not enough gold for a lot of people to spend the walk-in time to actually gather the foxes on Arena. So Corleone is definitely spying out SilverTongue here. We got a spearman already trained, and we've got the archer range and blacksmith almost complete. And SilverTongue is about a minute away from Feudal Age. Going up in 24 pop. So let's see, 5 villagers. That's about 2 minutes later. So Corleone will have like a 2-minute window to where it's been able to like get ahead on military training. We've got the spearman attacking the wall first here, only causing 1 damage. Oh, and this scout is coming to attack, and the spearman's not fighting back. I don't know if it's a consequence of setting the wall targeting mode or not. I think that basically just sets walls as higher priority. So we got an Arctic Wolf here. And so we've seen the Spearman and the Skirmisher not respond to this scout. I'm curious to see if or when they'll start attacking back. Yeah, let's go to Corleone's vision and see what he's explored. So. Seeing the scout do a lot of work here. I can't see how many units killed, but it's probably those 5. And so far, only the wolves are attacking the scout. Okay, here we go. We got the skirmisher finally attacking back. So I think eventually this scout might go down. But that scout's definitely bought SilverTongue some time. Alright, well that archer killed off the scout. Curious what that spearman's trying to do here. But let's take a look at the walls. Let's see, okay, this is the one that's damaged so far. So maybe 75% damage at this point. I think we just saw the graphics change. And SilverTongue is long distance gathering the deer, unfortunately, rather than pushing them in. But SilverTongue's 45 seconds away from Castle Age. And looks like SilverTongue will be going for crossbows with Britons. That's what I would expect. And if SilverTongue goes for the typical, just kind of send all of your units in to defend yourself against attackers, sending in those units one by one is probably not going to do a very good job. So we got a mill out here for SilverTongue. I'm curious if Corleone will find that. So far, it hasn't found it yet. So it kind of depends on whether Corleone will send its units this way to be exploring or not. Strange, I can only select the wall piece properly with this. But with it going up to Castle Age, that increased the Stonewall hit points for quite a bit. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Units just streaming out one by one with town defense. And that's not going to be very effective, especially with only the archer upgrade. If SilverTongue got the crossbow upgrade, they'd do a bit better. Alright, so the wall is broken through. We've got a single archer coming out here. And so we got a TC being attempted here by SilverTongue. Okay, looks like it was cancelled because one of the builders was attacked. That's probably smart. I think Corleone would have just avoided that TC. Alright, so SilverTongue does have enough stone for a castle, no, or not a castle, a tower. But I think it's trying to go for a TC instead. I don't think this TC is going to go up. Yep. Those villagers abandoned it. Alright, forward archer range from Corleone. I'm just watching around the map to see if a third town center is placed again. Yeah, SilverTongue is trying, but these are just not good placements. And unfortunately, this probably is going to mean that a lot of idle villagers are sent and to build this TC and then just get shot. So Corleone is definitely ahead in this game. I think once we see these range units kind of surrounding the TC, and that might be when I call the game. But it's already kind of looking GG. Aha, we got some forward villagers trying to knock down this gate. I don't know if this is DC or just setting the number of civilian militia. And SilverTongue's still trying to place that TC. Might even reach a point where SilverTongue just doesn't have any villagers garrisoned in TC because it sent all of its villagers to build it. Alright, 7 villagers left. I'm gonna call it. Might even see all of those villagers killed off before I can stop the game. And that was correct. So we got another win from Corleone. Flip back over to the game.